So now I'm going to walk you through all the chorus vocal tracks, and as you can see, we do have a lot of vocal tracks going on in the chorus. So I will bypass all of these and I'll just show you the main track, what it sounds like.
I'm waiting and calling, and I'll be outside. I want you to know that I'll be just fine.
Alright, so really good performance by Andy. So we just needed to clean it up. So this is kind of similar to the verse vocal track, but I did do some stuff differently since it was a chorus and I wanted his voice to sound a little different than it did in the verse. So I will start with the Pro Q2, and first of all we will take out some of the frequencies that we didn't use. So there we go. So with this one, I actually didn't take out any of the high end like I did in the verse vocal. So I wanted the chorus track to be a little brighter, punch through the mix more. So I didn't actually take any out 8K like I did with the verse track. I did take some out around 4K, and then I did a bunch of EQ moves down here at the lower end of his voice. So I felt like, because he was singing more powerfully in this part, I felt like there was more low end that needed to be taken out. So I have a dip around 155, a dip around 200, and then a dip around 300. So I will show you before and after, and you can kind of hear the low end being taken out.
I'm waiting and calling, and I'll be outside. I want you to know that I'll be just fine.
So that cleans it up nicely. Again, I got the roll off at about 100 hertz. And next I got the SSL channel, which we did a lot more here than we did with the verse vocals. Alright, so right away I did a shelf at about 12K, boosted by 3.5 dB, and this is the air to his voice. This boost almost makes him sound more breathy. So I'll play this for you and I'll boost this up so you can hear it.
I'm waiting and calling, and I'll be outside. I want you.
So usually if my vocals need more high end, I'll boost anywhere from 8 to 12K. I didn't want to boost too much of his voice, so I just chose to boost those air bands way up at the high end of the frequency spectrum. Next, I added a boost at 7K, and that is a boost of about 1.5. And then to add more consonant sound and more articulation, I boosted around 2K, and I boosted by, let's see, about 2 dB. So I'm just going to play this before and after so you can hear what this plugin's doing.
I'm waiting and calling, and I'll be outside. I want you to know that I'll be just fine.
Really adds a nice brightness to his voice, sounding good. Next, we needed to add some compression, and I'll show you what I did here. This looks like the same settings I had on the verse vocal track, so I'll just show you how much dB reduction we're getting here.
I'm waiting and calling, and I'll be outside. I want you to know that I'll be just fine.
Alright, next we go to the virtual mix rack where I'm doing that compressor trick. So I'm just adding this compressor right after the other one, and we're getting a tiny bit of reduction.
I'm waiting and calling, and I'll be outside. I want you.
Just lowering down the very peaks again, and then I added this revival some of this shimmer. And this is more of that air sound to the singer's voice, or the breathiness. So I'll boost this up for you and show you what it sounds like.
I'm waiting and calling, and I'll be outside. I want you to know.
Next, now that we added all that brightness and compression, definitely going to need the Deesser, and this is the same setting as the other tracks.
I'm waiting and calling, and I'll be outside.
Nothing crazy there. And then the same low end trick that I use on all my vocal tracks. I got this kind of keeping the low end in check.
I'm waiting and calling, and I'll be outside. I want you to know that I'll be just fine.
And next, just like the other tracks, we got the L2 limiter on there, lowering the volume of the loudest notes.
I'm waiting and calling, and I'll be outside. I want you to know that.
And then lastly, that same setting from before with the virtual tape machine.
I'm waiting and calling, and I'll be outside. I want you to know that I'll be just fine.
And then for our sends, so this is basically the same as the verse track. So I got the Vox Thick Send. I got a doubler on this one actually, so I'll have to go over this one. So I have a doubler send set up. So we're sending a copy of this chorus track to this V doubler bus that I set up. And on this, we're just using the Waves doubler. And this is just preset. I'll show you what this sounds like.
I'm waiting and calling, and I'll be outside.
So this plugin is basically adding a chorus effect. So what it does is it breaks the recording or the track down into two sides, right and left, and then it detunes the one side down by 6 cents, and it tunes the one side up by 6 cents. So it's slightly, they're slightly out of tune with each other, and that's what chorus is. So I will just play this for you with the original track so you can hear what it's adding. I'll bring it in and out.
I'm waiting and calling, and I'll be outside. I want you to know that I'll be just fine.
It almost makes it sound like there's more of him singing than there actually are. And I add that to a lot of my chorus vocals. Sometimes I'll even do it in the verses, but it's a nice way to make your singer sound bigger than he actually is. So then after this doubler send, we just have the reverb and delay send, in which I'm sending more delay in this chorus than I was in the vocals. So I have this turned up more than I do in the verses. So this is what it sounds like.
I'm waiting and calling, and I'll be outside. I want you to know that I'll be just fine.
Guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to download your free Ultimate Home Studio Mix Guide. I made this for you guys so you could start getting your mixes sounding better. There's a lot of great information in there. And be sure to reach out if you have any questions or if you need any help with your mixes. Thanks.